I guess I better go ahead and start this live stream because there's been a lot of talk about the recent drama that happened. And I will like to address some things because she follows me on Twitter. I have met her once around Gamergate. She seemed like a very good person. Um, and I remember talking to her one time in private chat, discussing some things with her about her recent going to a convention and talking about the issues about Gamergate, and she decided to not go. Um, a lot of people felt it was uh, a bad situation. She seemed like she was very honest with her opinion on this, that no one wanted to listen to her. They just wanted to listen to a porn star talk. And I remember she discussed this issue with us and told us the honest truth that they didn't really care about ethical journalism. They just didn't care. But the sad part was, in this whole issue, is that she got caught and arrested for having methamphetamine and guns, and also the fact that there was also accusations about her molesting a child. I was kind of shocked and surprised. I did talk to some other sources about the whole drug thing, and it was confirmed that she does use drugs and performance enhancing drugs as well to work out and try to look good, because I found out that she also had self-esteem issues and a lot of problems. And this is something me and Frozen talked about in another Discord. And me and him, I mean her, sorry about that, Frozen, I apologize. Frozen happens to be a good friend of mine. We have talked, not as long as I could remember, but it's been a while, and I actually was surprised that she came around and talked to me about some of the stuff. To explain some of the issues that are going on, a lot of people are upset about what happened. I am myself is upset. Zamron called me last night to talk about it. I was at work because they called me in when I found out the news. A lot of people were not happy by what happened, and the fact that we decided to disassociate ourselves. Some of us decided to disassociate ourselves from Mercedes by what happened, because when you're getting caught in in your house with guns and meth and all this other shit, it can it can cause a lot of problems. But I understood the issues with her. Her career was going down a downward spiral. From what I heard, she wanted to transition, but she couldn't because she would rather be a woman. She was sexually attracted to women, but she was bisexual. Now, a lot of the discussions that me and Frozen had about this, she pointed this out to me, and I basically don't want to get personal about this, but there's been a lot of issues that have been going on the internet, and a lot of people have been discussing these issues about what this is all about. Now, I understand that some of you guys out there probably are not going to watch this, don't even care to talk about this, because this is something that a lot of us are kind of worried about. Because the thing was, I like to point out that all people tend to hide themselves pretty well, and we didn't realize that this person that we all knew, that was very respected in the community, who basically came in and defend us when no one else did. And she basically had this mask that really made a lot of us question a lot of the things that she did. Like, she was very nice. She also helped another porn star out when she was victimized, a victim of rape. There was also another incident where she helped a disabled vet, and also another vet who asked her out to go to a Marine Corps celebration. She was a very giving person, and it's kind of sad that this happened, to the point that you don't really know the person very well. I didn't personally know her very well. I only met her one time, discussing some things with her, and it seems that a lot of people realized that she seemed very intelligent. She was very forward about herself, very articulate, and it's kind of sad that she got into trouble. And from what I understand, some people pointed out a lot of good points about this. I saw some videos of YouTubers discussing this issue about Mercedes, and a lot of them pointed out that her career in the porn industry is pretty much over. A lot of people are really unhappy about this, to the point that they would rather disassociate themselves from Mercedes Carrera. And I know Michael, you were right about her. Michael was not happy, but he talked about this a while back in private with me, that he kind of mentioned the word illegitimate. Like, she wasn't realistic. She wasn't very supportive. She was illegitimate. And it was kind of hard. He mentioned this word, and I forgot what this word is. Michael Jordan, Michael Space Jam, discussed this issue in private with us and talked about this. And a lot of us kind of, brushed it off. But to be honest with you, Michael, I'm so very sorry about this. I guess Michael didn't want to say anything, but he knew something was up with her. A lot of people talked about this a while back, and there's been a lot of issues and problems going on within the group, and a lot of us talk about this, and a lot of us are kind of surprised by this, because this is the stuff that's going on that is bothering a lot of people, and a lot of people are not very happy with this, because from what happened, a lot of fans are really surprised by the situation with the Mercedes Carrera, and it sort of hurt my friend who knew her very well, met her in real life, and to find out she did all this, and it got to the point that some people are not very happy with this, and it's sort of sad, because I am going to go ahead and see if I can find, because right now she got arrested. Like, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and read Vlad TV, even though Vlad does not like me, because they had copyright striked me before. And I'm going to point out to you guys the simple thing.
Ah, oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Adult actress Mercedes Carrera, real name Melinda Smith, sorry, 35, and her boyfriend Jason Whitney, 43, were arrested and charged with 8 counts of sexually abusing a child under age of 10. They also were charged with 1 count of possession while armed with a handgun. Detectives from the Rancho Cucamonga police department revealed that the girl was abused over 4 months period, which they learned on January 31st. Deputies said in a statement the sexual abuse consisted of inappropriate touching, oral copulation, and digital penetration, which I don't know what that means, which occurred over 4 months. In search, a digital penetration. Okay, so a search warrant of Smith and Whitney's home uncovered a large amount of evidence corroborating the victim's statement. According to the press release from detectives, they found 2 handguns and methamphetamines, which basically means that she was taking meth. Both Whitney and Smith have been denied bail and entered a not guilty plea when they appeared in court Wednesday, February 6th. Yeah. Back in court Wednesday on the 14th of the hearing. Now, a lot of people have been talking about this issue for quite some time, and it's kind of a big surprise that this happened. And it's kind of weird, though. A lot of people are talking about this this whole situation with Mercedes Carrera, and it is sort of scary. To the point that she, because from what I heard, her career wasn't going well in the porn industry. She was having issues. She went to into the porn industry, and a lot of people talked about this issue a while back. What hurts is that a lot of people trusted her, and they felt betrayed by it, by what happened when she got arrested and been found this way. Right now, she pleaded not guilty, so that means she probably is not going to be able to. She would have to probably defend herself in court. Innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, I'm going to be nice about this because, out of respect for a lot of people, it is a big situation that a lot of people are not happy. And this is something that a lot of people are talking about for a while. And I don't know what to tell you guys, but this is what's going on right now. And a lot of people are freaking out. A lot of people are, even on the other side, are talking about this to the point that they're just laughing at this. Now, I would talk about this issue, but I will explain some things about this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do some stuff that's going on right now. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and post another controversy because I'm going to change the subject here. Latin for finger. Digital penetration, fingering. Ah, thank you. Yeah, I haven't really said much. I am sorry for not paying attention to the chat because usually no one bothers to watch this stuff. So how's it going, Privileged Ship Lord? You want to jump in? Let me go ahead and give you the link to the chat. Yeah, because there's been a lot of stuff that's going on. Sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and give you the link to the Discord. Okay, I'll let you grab your coffee and you can come on in. Yeah. Let me do something here. I'm gonna post a video here. I'm gonna go play a video that's on YouTube.
That's hot.
Post
That's
this
hot.
video here by Flash.
Let me give you some advice.
Oh, great.
The
I'm gonna have to try to skip this.
So the more that I look into this stuff on Vic Mignogna, I feel that he's being really driven through the mud by people. And there's plenty of stuff coming out, especially now, that is showing people are fabricating stuff on him. Not just Anime News Network, but there's actually closed cabals like Facebook groups where they're actively trying to Photoshop pictures and make him look terrible. I've got all the leaked screenshots here. We're going to go through them. But first, I want to show this once again. So this is from this was on Anime News Network. They showed this picture with the girl's face blocked out. Tried to make it look like it was a non-consensual pass, and that's how they published their story. Well, it turns out that wasn't true at all, as the girl who actually was in that picture shared this story. There is a photo going around with Vic giving me a kiss on the cheek, and they are falsely stating I was 20 years of age in 2012. I am only 21 now. This particular photo was taken in Manchester at Resimble Ranger dinner that I set up, that my mother was present at along with other parents. I requested these photos myself with my mom and Vic's consent. I do not want to be involved in any negativity towards Vic and cause him any distress or bad press. Vic is generally a nice man who I admire and looked up to for many years. In no way have I got anything to do with the negativity towards Vic or the allegations. Seeing this has distressed me tonight, and I want to set the record straight. Keep your head up, Vic, and try and rise above it. Now, Anime News Network covered this and made it look like he was harassing the girl, which is blatantly false. Don't forget, in my previous video, I also showed what they did to Clownfish TV, where they were going around tagging them and saying that they're extremists because they're taking more of a neutral stance on this. And I think that they're correct to do so. I saw the quartering is sticking up for him, and I'm glad to see people are sticking up for this. The guy needs it. He's been fired from Funimation, Rooster Teeth. He's probably one of the most successful voice actors in the industry from what I've seen. I don't watch most dubs, right? But I did like the dub of Full Metal Alchemist, which he played, Edward Elric. He also was in Broly, which is doing well. And it's the success that's making him get burned. But let's go in through this and we'll talk about it a little bit more. So one of these secret Facebook cabals is getting some stuff linked. So here's some stuff that's getting linked out. It's out of context. They're just showing this picture. And this is what a lot of the stuff always is. It's always just him hugging people. That's it. He's just an over-friendly dude who probably shouldn't have, been so awkward socially, right? And that's what he's doing. He's just obviously kind of just an awkward dude. And this is being like some kind of hardcore assault. But they posted this out of context, just put it out there. It probably got retweeted and liked like crazy. But it turns out this is what's going on here. So this is leaked screenshots from a private Facebook group. And this is the stuff that they're planning in there. You should Photoshop that picture so it looks like Vic's hand is on your chest. That way, no one can claim that it's out of context. And it makes Vic look worse than he is. So we got some people trying to defend against that. Now falsifying evidence is gross. And then this person says once again, even if it helps make Vic look bad. And then they say, even if it makes Vic look like Hitler. And then they talk about, oh, it would be fun. We should do that to make it look like he hates the Jewish people. And then they say, why would you do that? You could get the case thrown out of court. And they say, the person says, not if the Photoshop looks convincing. You go here. Just don't do it. It's extremely harmful to the victims. And then this dumb person says, this is a closed group, so not anyone can see this. Too bad. Now at least a few thousand people are going to see this. And I'm sure other people will pick it up and cover this as well now. So we go here. And this is the owner of the group. If you keep leaking crap from my group, I'm kicking you out. I'm extremely displeased with you. Once again, I apologize. I thought the idea was to make up whatever we can to make him look bad. Let's listen to that again. Once again, I apologize. I thought the idea, parenthesis, of this group, parenthesis, was to make whatever we can to make him look bad. They're literally sitting in there trying to think of ways to make Vic look bad. What a coincidence! Where have we seen this before? Remember with Diversity in Comics, Richard C. Meyer, when all those Facebook groups were popping up trying to get him in trouble? Huh. Seems that this is a running theme when people want to be burned. When people want to burn people down, this is what they do. They get in these little groups and they collaborate and they try to take people down. I don't see any hardcore evidence, but what I do see now is the industry, like Anime News Network, trying to bury him, private little cabals trying to bury him. I haven't seen any kind of convincing evidence that he's doing anything bad, other than he didn't want to sign some artwork that he didn't agree with, and then he might have been rude to some staff. Everything else seems like he's just being friendly to his fans and a little awkward, which was not smart. But now his life is ruined, right? Probably never going to work in the industry again. Is this just people jealous or something? You see Chris Sabat, Sean Shamil, the voice of Bulma, Monica, whatever her name is, all throwing him under the bus now. And, you know, you don't see them talking about this. That's just believe, he said, she said. Even though we have groups actively talking about photoshopping stuff, making stuff up to make him look racist, and sitting in these little groups. We have actual evidence of this now, right? But there's nothing to show that he's this big creeper. All that I've seen so far is that he's just an awkward, weird dude. And that's not against the law. So I'm just really kind of blown away by this. All right, so to close it out, I'm going to play a clip from this video. I will link the video in the description if you want to watch the whole 11-minute video yourself.
Okay, now it works. So, hello?
How's it going?
Well, more or less okay. Sadly, I don't know much about this, this topic. The leaks are like a surprise to me. I learned about them from your show just right now.
Vic Mignogna is a voice actor. To give you the context of what happened was he got accused by Anime News Network, which is a anime news site. And what happened was he's voiced dubs like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He did the Brawly movie for English dub. He's been well known in the anime community for almost 3 or 4 decades.
Well, since it's Anime News Network, I've heard that they are like SJW Central, and I'm not surprised that they have
been banning discussions from people who bring up topics that they don't like.
So it's pretty much like every single that's the problem with when leftist ideologues. They have their roots in almost everything that has to do with popular culture.
He also did RWBY. He also did voice acting for the Rooster Teeth show RWBY.
Well, I've heard about that.
Yeah, and
About the show.
the sad part is that he got fired from the accusations that happened against him.
So it's like typical, mob quote unquote justice, where accusation is.
The child thing was also the methamphetamine and guns thing.
Well, the guns, even meth, wouldn't be like the problem. The problem is the kid diddling, because
Yeah, that's a very difficult thing to deal with, especially right now. She said that she is, because here's the thing about it, is that she said she's not guilty of it. Even her husband or her partner in crime said they're not guilty, and right now they're being held without bail.
I wonder. So, I would prefer personally. I don't want to condemn her just without knowing any details, because not all accusations are true, but it kind of doesn't look that great, because if they were denied bond and the accusation is that they diddled a minor, and apparently this minor is known to the police because they know it's the age is known, so there is an alleged victim. So
yeah, there's an alleged victim, and the sad part is that this victim has been one witness has claimed this, so it's kind of hard to determine, and especially it happened in an apartment complex.
Yeah, well, I would probably defer judgment on this topic until there's some concrete evidence.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look great.
Yeah, it doesn't look great for her, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I did talk to somebody about it, Frozen, about this, and she told me that she can confirm the story that she took methamphetamine, and also she also took performance-enhancing drugs like testosterone.
Well, I'm not surprised about that. I mean, come on, who doesn't do drugs nowadays? Or for that matter, who didn't do drugs in the past? I mean, it's because it's meth is overhyped by the media, especially by the clueless media, and it's nowhere near as as scary as it's portrayed. There are prescription drugs that are way more dangerous and more, like, I would say, vile. Like, for example, take benzodiazepines. Those are prescription drugs that are way more addictive than anything on the black market.
Okay.
Like, I've read a confession of a guy who used to be addicted to heroin, and then to, I don't remember which benzodiazepine, but one of them, and said that getting off benzodiazepines was way harder than getting off heroin. So there's that. And doctors often prescribe benzos for just left and right without much consideration. Especially they used to in the past. Now maybe slightly more.
So it's just limited.
It's still. I mean, it's supposed to be like as I said, I'm a bit derpy today, so might not be as eloquent as I would like to. But yeah, it's supposed to be. What's the term?
I understand. It's just this kind of bothered me a lot because, I met her one time. She seemed like a very articulate person, very nice. And then I remembered there was drama between her and someone that I used to know, Michael Jordan, who used to work. I used to work with him in a website that he did. He came back from the AN around, I think, 2017 or 2016. He had a little bit of a drama spat that happened, and he told me something that kind of bothered me when I remembered when all this happened. It kind of popped into my head, and what happened was he said that in a wording, he said that Mercedes Carrera was in a private conversation, that Mercedes Carrera was illegitimate,
Well, it's really a very nebulous term. You know, depending on context, what do you mean? Like, did he mean she wasn't a genuine person? Was
Yeah,
like
genuine.
pretending to be?
She was not
Well, I mean,
genuine.
it's kind of, you know, you can
And
say
it was
that
very
about.
vague though, but it was very vague, and he kind of told me that like don't associate with her because and I remembered he got upset and he left the AAN thing because he was working with a porn star at the time because he needed a job, so he did this work for her, tried to promote her YouTube channel and everything, and they had a falling out because he got drunk and he told me some things when he came back from that event because he left because he couldn't deal with the bullshit that happened, and he didn't want to say a lot of things. He just told me that Mercedes Carrera is illegitimate, like she wasn't genuine.
Well, again, it's something, you know, people might say about people they don't like. Just, you know, a lot of people, you know, they pretend to be you know, a better person than they really are. Like in public and in private. For example, in private, people might show their like racist side or some other not so socially acceptable
Not
parts
so
of their personality.
not so friendly.
Yeah. So it's like, depending on context, it can mean like literally anything. So someone, you know, I know usually when a person isn't genuine, it's not a good thing. But depending on the details, it might be just slightly bad, or it might be like terrible. Because sometimes people might pretend to be really caring and you know, kind-hearted in public, but in private they're really, really nasty and duplicitous. So, you know, or it might be, you know, the word illegitimate, it kind of suggests something illegal, but then again, snorting meth is not exactly legal, so who knows?
Yeah, you could be right about that. It's just there's been a lot of things that happened. Did you hear about Copperhead challenging Gavin McInnes?
Oh, Copper Cab.
Yeah, Copper Cab.
Oh, well, I mean, are there people out there who still don't realize that he's a troll? Like a very, very dedicated troll, but it was kind of obvious anyways.
Yeah, he really wants to go after Gavin. I would support it the whole way because a lot of people don't like Gavin McInnes.
Oh, I don't like Gavin McInnes after his stupid anti-gamer rant where he's just acted like a grumpy old man. Like,
I know, but I would love to see
instead of, you know, making a table or something. So apparently you cannot be a gamer and also be into carpentry. It's not like there are like woodworking channels on YouTube where these people sometimes make like gaming related memorabilia out of wood. So obviously they can both play games and make tables.
But he made like I think 3 or 4 or 5 videos trying to get Gavin to come out and fight him.
Well, they actually had a live stream a while back, and it went as well as you might expect, like literal autistic screeching at each other.
Yeah,
you haven't seen
here's another one. It says, "I'm not gay for the titles are. Let me see if I can show it on the screen here. I'm gonna try to switch it out too, because I have this little thing with Will Smith in it, so I might as well show everyone the thing.
Yeah, I noticed this. This is actually a pretty funny transition.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah,
That's
I
hot.
actually tried to learn some stuff. I actually watched some videos, and it's kind of cool that they are doing this. Like they added these features from the new OBS.
Oh, so. I'm sorry. I have a phone call. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. I'm gonna show the video of "I'm not gay for Gavin."
I want to address a few things right now, okay? First of all, when I'm in the gym, nobody else is in here, usually, okay? A few times that I've been making videos, all right, there have been a couple people on the treadmill, okay? But they do not care because they've got their AirPods in, you fucking peasants, okay? Another thing, when I spit, it's not usually spit. It's water because I just finished doing my workout, my last set, so I got a nice pump going. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you, bitch? Because you're too busy commenting on the videos, all right? While I'm busy getting swole, because I'm a swole boy. And I want all the smoke, boy, like a fucking vape shop. You don't want the smoke that I can give you. No, you don't. No, not you, not Tara La Rosa, the bully bitch on Twitter. Okay? Fucking New Jersey Hall of Fame MMA bitch that I would wipe the fucking floor with and mop her with my spit. And certainly not Gavin McInnes, who I would certainly fuck up. And you want to know why? Because I'm a fucking husky boy, a fucking husky boy. Yeah, I'm the fucking hammer. Yeah. Conor McGregor, his coach has been tweeting me, sending me little fuckboy messages on Twitter. Well, I got a message for you, Coach Kavanaugh. I would fuck you up and your little bitch boy Conor McGregor, who's washed, might I add. Got his ass handed to him by that old-ass man Floyd Mayweather, who I'd beat his ass too, and also Khabib, who I would personally turn into a shish kebab. I make Khabib into a fucking kebab when I stick him with my left hook of love and my right hook of tolerance. You don't want it, bitch. You don't fucking want it. Because I'm pretty fucking motivated right now to whoop some ass. Iron Tab, bitch. Yeah. The age of iron is here. Oh, and by the way, everybody calling me gay, first of all, that's not an insult. If I was gay, I'd be fucking proud of it. I'd be gay and proud of it. All right? You don't know me. You don't know what I go through every fucking day. You don't know a damn thing about me, okay? So stop talking shit about me and put some respect on my name. Assholes. Now I gotta take a shower so everybody can politely fuck off now.
Right, I'm back.
I finished I finished showing I'm Not Gay for Gavin video. It's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much what you expected. Come on, it's obviously he's a troll, and he knows that these kind of videos are, they always attract attention, and people watch just for cringe, especially people who don't realize that it's an act.
Yeah, he's been working out, that's for sure, because he went to the gym. He lost some weight, that's for sure. But I think he's really serious about challenging Gavin in a no-holds-bar ring of cages.
Oh, it's like... I guess he wants some of that Andy versus Donga attention.
Yeah, because a lot of people are getting tired of being, the laughing stock by the YouTube community, and they pretty much would say, yes, I want to challenge this person because this person has been hurting my reputation for a long time, therefore I want to beat the shit out of him or her.
This is just... I mean, I'm not sure how many people operate like that, because I suspect that there are others.
Well, it all started with Donga. That's what happened.
No, I mean the whole being such a dedicated troll and keeping this being in character for years, literally. That kind of thing.
I think it's because a lot of people think he should be... he should just keep making videos. And I think that's the reason why people do this. It's sort of a marketing scheme where they try to, tell their audience they're going to do this, but then again, they probably back down or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like how WWE in a way is, because a lot of people point out that it's fake drama, but they create a story around it. It's like fan fiction.
Yeah, well, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old, but this kind of drama, isn't that appealing to me personally.
I understand, and the thing is, the reason why that they do drama, because that's what sells. That's what attracts people into this whole situation. When they know the person, it's kind of a hard thing to deal with when people bring up drama, because a lot of I know that like, for example, Ethan Ralph's kill stream is filled with drama, internet drama, and also domestic drama, and that's what brings in views. And a lot of people, love that, would rather watch that because it's a WWE sort of entertainment for them. Like, 4chan thinks it's entertainment.
Well, it kind of is. Besides, if not for Killstream, we might not have actually known that Mundane Matt is a flagot.
Yeah, because it kind of revealed that he caused a lot of the stuff that happened on YouTube. That people kept getting their videos flagged, and he was the one responsible for flagging some of the videos criticizing him.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the same with Big Chongus nowadays. Videos about him get privacy complaints and other stuff.
Yeah.
Gee, who could have been behind this?
Yeah, because he pointed out that Ethan Miles Chung was doxing people. He was pointing out that he was responsible for trying to get Andy arrested by falsely accusing him, because of the fact that he revealed a lot of the stuff that was going on with him and Andy over the hype break thing. And it was like, I watched I actually had to give Andy his chops. He actually knows how to defend himself pretty well when it comes to people trying to destroy him. But a lot of people I know from KIA discuss a lot of things, and they tend to be like, I don't like Andy. And it's like, I don't like Andy either, but I respect him. But I do feel sorry for what happened to him, because a lot of people he trusted, because I had people I trusted and they backstabbed me.
Yeah, it's really, no matter how many times it happens, you can never get used to this. It's always, the only thing about that people should get used to is get used to being more discriminatory when it comes to friends, because Andy, how many of his former friends backstabbed him lately? It shows that he really, really is a poor judge of character. Because, seriously.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of suspected that Failure tried to backstab him, and he because when they looked at the discussions with Vampy and him, I remember looking at it, and he basically Failure kind of showed the text and everything of Vampy and her discussing some things, and it revealed a lot of things. And he basically looked at I know that Andy looked at the text, and he kind of said, you knew this was gonna happen. Like, he said something about that in a live stream. And I think it's because both he doesn't trust Failure. I know that Mr. Medigo doesn't trust Failure. He doesn't trust Donga. He doesn't trust a lot of the people that were in that crew that tried to, get people, because I realized they were trying to start drama. because the whole blood sports thing was getting so popular that they had to bring in, because what fed the whole thing was drama.
Yeah, well, it's not just drama, but I can't understand why this thing happens. First of all, people who are attracted to drama, often they have certain character traits, or in many cases even you'd say personality disorders that are conducive to this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing being always trying to be the center of attention, but when it comes to this really, really pathologically craving for attention, well, it's usually a sign of something deeper wrong with a person. And these kind of people, cluster B personality disorders, all of them, they have things in common that pretty much make those people unreliable and really prone to backstabbing or some erratic behavior, or just not giving a shit about others and being extremely selfish. And it's, some of them just can't help themselves. They are so pathological when it comes to, for example, lying. Sometimes, for example, David Shitrat, he lies even when he doesn't need to lie. In some, remember this a while back when Rage After Storm made her really, really idiotic video. David Shitrat made a response, and even though this video provided ample opportunity of just debunking it, legitimately, he still had to, cut it up in a deceptive way, and it was, those jump cuts were really, really apparent. And given that it's Shitrat, and come on, it's exactly what you expect from him. It's like he just does it not because he needs to, but because it's something that he cannot not being dishonest at this point.
I'll give you that, because the fact that there are a lot of things that happen. I remembered a lot of people went after Rage After Storm because she made this video about, I forgot what it was called, genetic. I forgot the theory that they brought
it's
up.
About race.
Yeah.
It's like it was probably the worst video about race realism in the history of YouTube.
Yeah. And it kind of, and I know that it triggered one particular YouTuber that we all know, and he no longer has a YouTube channel. He basically disenfranchises himself and caused a lot of things and doxed people.
I think I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want to mention his name because the fact that I keep forgetting his name, though. It was Kraut. And Kraut kind of caused a lot of the drama that happened, especially reporting videos and also reporting her to her party that she was doing this and this and this. And I'm like, look, the whole race realism thing, I couldn't take it seriously, but it kind of points out some issues about race and genetics and all this other stuff and the theories that they brought up. The problem was they were trying to debunk race realism. They could have pointed out that you're a human being no matter what. Genetically,
saying that no matter what, you're a human, it's kind of really arguing against the point nobody's making, because again, I don't want to say nobody's making, because there are too many idiots online, and some people actually would say that certain races are not human, especially a certain person who shares ancestry with Kraut, another Austrian who had a genital deformity, a substance abuse problem, and explosive temper.
Yeah.
A failed art student.
Yeah, like for example, not everyone's perfect. That's the truth, and they think they're perfect, and sometimes they will make mistakes. That's another point that they should have brought up.
Yeah, another thing is that David Shitrat managed to almost make as bad as a response video as the video by Rage After Storm, because at one point he actually said that when Rage said that average IQ of a population affects how the society works, or something to that extent. And you will say, oh well, where do you get this idea from? The citation needed. So is he saying that a society of geniuses and society of retards wouldn't be much different from each other? Is that what Shitright? Then again, it's Shitright. What do you expect? He unironically said that
he's only proving her theory right about race realism.
What's even worse is that Shitright, if you've probably heard about that he actually tried to explain the fact that certain races are more prone to committing violent crime because apparently in America black children eat lead paint and that's why they become criminals. He actually said this unironically.
Wow. That's kind of cruel. Cruel.
And when people laughed at him about this, he was, "Oh, you deny, you are science deniers," and linked to an article that...
I think he's more of a conspiracy theorist than I am. Because I am more of a conspiracy theorist on certain things. Like, I believe that there is a sex cult on Discord plotting to...
Oh, there's a lot of weird shit on Discord, including, there's... some pedophilia degeneracy and one of the Discord, someone from this.
I heard about that there was a furry community of Discord users that did a lot of naughty things that I heard about. Also, there was another one that surprised me was there is a legitimate Discord server called Sex Cult, but I believe that's a rock and roll band.
By the way, check out Discord. I sent a meme about Shitright on his theory of lead paint-induced crime.
Alright, let me see if I can...
And apparently if you...
The lead paint challenge led... I can imagine him doing that.
And if you say that you doubt that this is legit, well, you're a science denier, because of one kind of dubious study, which doesn't even prove his point. This study shows the apparent correlation between the bands of fuel that had lead in it, and after it was banned, there was less lead oxide in the air, and that's why at this time the crime rate started going down. First of all, correlation doesn't mean causation. And second of all, let's imagine that this study is 100% accurate. It still doesn't prove his conspiracy theory. I don't want even to call it a theory. It's just some bullshit he came up with. Because first of all, it's about toxic materials in the air. Everyone breathes the same air. So
I would call it
unless
a fictional theory.
There were cars running on gasoline, driving through, exclusively through poor neighborhoods, and every white kid was wearing a gas mask and black kids couldn't afford it. Unless he shows this thing going on, this study he showed has nothing to do with his stupid ideas about crime and race.
I can understand. The thing about him is that you have to realize it's an
what would you expect from David?
You have to realize it's an unrealistic theory. That's what I would call it, an unrealistic theory that he made up.
Yeah. First of all, it's not as easy to find lead paint anywhere, unless you're living in ancient homes. Because even though lead paint was banned, it was banned kind of late because there were harmful effects of lead salts on the fact that lead salts were neurotoxic was found out quite a while before it was banned. So there's that. But still, you'd be hard pressed to find. Usually, if you find lead paint anywhere, it's like some industrial equipment from the 30s, and in residential areas. I mean, if it's a poor neighborhood, then those old homes with lead paint wouldn't survive because poor neighborhoods are not maintained well. So also, it doesn't. to prove this theory, first of all, you need to provide evidence, like hair sample analysis from those criminals, and show that if you're
There's no
also,
evidence. There's no evidence of this.
Yeah, and also there's. Oh, hello.
I'm listening.
Your sound was kind of
I'm sorry about that. Usually it's kind of weird though, because a lot of people talk about this, that a lot of these weird theories that pop up out of nowhere, and they bring these theories out. I think the person that you brought up, I think he's more trying to make the theory sound funny to people, to make them laugh at this theory, because I think you're right about the fact that he's saying bullshit, but I think the problem is that he's not legitimately trying to, I think most people know he's just full of shit, that he's just causing this to get attention.
No, it's David Shatrat here. I think he actually, I don't know if he believes it himself, but he tries to portray this as legitimate, because that's the thing. People like him, I call them secular creationists, and for a reason. Actually, if I wasn't so lazy, I've been, I had this idea, actually have a script, and it's like the video is 80% done, and it's been like 80% done for more than a year at this point. I don't know. I'm kind of lazy, and also sometimes just lose motivation.
To do it. Yeah, I have problems like that before, trying to motivate myself to do videos. The problem is I have real life stuff to do, and I wish I could do a lot of those things, but unfortunately, doing the videos that I want to do, and sometimes when there's like drama that hits, like for example Ian Miles Chung, I would have done a video about him, and talk about the fact that he lost all the trust in the community, because he had a lot of respect for what he did when he came forward about the whole issue with this one game that a lot of people really wanted. It was the successor for Mega Man.
Oh, what's the name? Mighty Number 9, that one.
Yeah, Mighty Number 9. And what happened was he leaked I think he was one of the people that leaked the chats of, and he confirmed that it was true that this happened, because they said what they said on that chat, and it revealed that the ex-employee who worked at that thing was trying to sabotage the business itself, because she didn't like the boss, because the boss was very somewhat sexist.
Was it Dina, whatever her name was?
Ifune. Paula Dina, I think it was her name.
I've heard that there's some really a lot of... The whole development was a fucking mess, and
because she wanted a female character in the game, and of course, according to some sources I talked to, she was very narcissistic about this, like very obsessive, that she wanted a female character in the game. The problem
That's a surprise.
The problem was no one asked for this. They just paid for the game, and they wanted the game. They didn't ask for a second character that is a female. They only asked, they just want something that was similar to Mega Man.
Well, and first of all, she's an SJW, so obviously she has some personality disorder. It's like, it's pretty much expected.
Well, the problem was what she did was basically banned a couple of people. They wanted to get their money back, and they all did by doing cashback, which they lost, which of course made them lose money in the process, because she caused a lot of damage PR wise in the community, banning people who basically disagreed with her, who brought up some things, and she caused a lot of issues that caused a lot of problems in the business. And even when the Japanese tried to straight up point out a lot of the issues. She basically deleted all the emails and basically lied to her coworkers, even though her coworkers defended her. She basically lied to the business owner what she did. She basically caused a lot of drama to the community, even though and Mr. Medicare made a video about this.
Yeah, I remember.
But
First of all, she was hired just because she was dating someone on the development team. So nepotism never works out well. So they should have expected this shit to go south. Don't hire someone you are fucking. Especially since the person doesn't have any. If she was like had some unique talents, or she was hired to be a community manager, like anyone with communication skills and who knows language, she had to know Japanese and English. Anyone with these
she is very fluent in Japanese, from what I understand. The issue that they had. The issue that kind of popped up was the fact that she basically, Paul Dina basically tried to sabotage the community. That's what happened with a lot of the people that got upset with her because they didn't like her. She kind of caused this mess that kind of caused a great divide in the community because she banned a lot of people that were bigger donators. And she didn't know how to handle things very well because she was basically trying to focus on her lifestyle more than she was focusing on her job, and it caused a big mess with a lot of the people. Because from what I heard, a Japanese guy tried to convince everybody, "Hey, don't get mad at her, be nice to her. She's working at the job," and then suddenly. She kind of caused the mess by saying, "Fuck you, people. I don't want you, blah, blah, blah." Like, she literally pissed off a lot of people with this. And that's what caused her... She literally... When someone was trying to fix it for her, she literally made it hard for everyone to, be nice to her and be respectful towards her when she literally tries to sabotage the whole thing. She literally tried to make the whole thing sound like she wasn't involved, but she did cause a lot of the damage from what I heard from other sources.
Yeah, it's pretty much what you would expect from SJWs, especially mentally unstable ones. Oh, and also the game had more problems than that.
It did because of the fact that the money that they had was gone. Half of that money was like, instead of $1 million that they managed to get, it was 800. It was probably around 800,000.
But I think that problem goes deeper than money, because some of the stuff is fundamental to game design. Like, I've seen some really interesting videos analyzing the game from the like level design and game mechanics perspectives, and it's a complete mess. Because first of all, level design and the game mechanics kind of work against each other. So, for example, this dashing mechanic that was really, really, used like a very important, almost like a cornerstone of the whole mechanic, and yet levels were designed so you couldn't usually take advantage of that. So if you start to dash too much, you'll get yourself killed. Also, some mechanics, they weren't well explained at all, or were not explained at all. And let's, if you don't mind me, kind of divulging from topic and talking more about like level design. Usually how it goes in a well designed game. First of all, different mechanics, especially the ones you wouldn't expect. Like, everyone expects normal like movement, jumping, and ducking. So you don't need to go out of your way to kind of explain it or showcase it. People would get a hang of it easily. But some more advanced or some more unique mechanics, they should probably be introduced one by one. And first, player should be allowed to use them in like a safe environment or like low risk environment. so where you can practice it without being punished for not mastering it well enough. And then after they get a hang of it, they get to use it in a more like in the battle or where the stakes are higher. So that's how good design is. But
Okay.
in the Might Number 9, there was one mechanic that was used exactly once in one level and nowhere else. It wasn't even introduced anywhere before that. It's like kind of like dashing. Oh, it's ducking and dashing, but it was a different kind of ducking dash, which is it's never used anywhere else. And the problem is that you have to like slide under a dangerous like obstacle, and if you do your normal sliding maneuver, it's really you almost make it, but you get killed in the really so you don't even know. Yeah, so you don't know if you just don't do it properly. You don't know how well. You might not realize that you should use the different move that is really very similar to this move, but it's different because it looks like you barely didn't make it. So, and since it was never established or never used anywhere else in the game, what's even the point?
I know, and the thing is, they basically they lost a lot of money from cashbacks. That's what happened, and it was because of the fact that they were working with a small team, with a small group of people, and it was understandable. But at the same time, she had to realize that people put a lot of good money into this, and you find out she basically sabotaged it by deliberately, kicking people that she disagreed with out of the forum.
Yeah, that was really kind of PR disaster. But even I'd say that even if she wasn't connected to the project in any way, this game would still be a disaster. Because for comparison, let's compare it to a different game that's kind of similar, but that did everything much better. Like you've probably heard about the Shovel Knight. It was made like on a third of the budget, and yet, if you compare the level design and the mechanics, it's completely the opposite, because all the mechanics are they are simple and they are introduced during the levels one by one.
They actually put in the work into it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and everything works so fluently. You don't need tutorials, because levels kind of
it was very
push
easy
you to using those. And those again, when the first time those mechanics are introduced, you do it in a low risk environment where even if you screw up, you don't die or lose anything. Just you can practice, and it comes so natural that you don't. Normal people who don't pay attention to that, they don't even realize that these are it's called invisible tutorials sometimes. So they don't even know that they are practicing those moves, but they just learn them and then use those moves later in the levels. And I think that the team that worked on Might Number 9, they really didn't understand proper some very fundamental issues of game design. Also, other even small things. For example, because artistic presentation and aesthetic, it's not just visual and for bells and whistles. It's often in gaming. It's also part of the gameplay, because you need to look at the screen and see what's going on and quickly assess. For example, this level where you need to jump from one moving vehicle to another, this level, and this level happens in the city and kind of looks nice, but all this flashy, colorful stuff in the background, it's really distracting, especially if you're tired and you look at the screen. It's sometimes hard to quickly tell which is part of the foreground, which is part of the background. If all the colors in the background were kind of muted, for example, simulated mist effect or something,
yeah,
it might not look as nice and colorful like in Neon City. But if everything in the background had muted colors or some you could see that is in the background, so your eyes would focus on what's in the foreground. And also, in that level, there are also floating traffic signs which you have to either duck under or jump over. The problem is that those traffic signs, they move with the same speed as the background. So you cannot tell immediately that they are part of the foreground. If they moved asynchronous compared to the background, well, your brain would immediately notice that, even if you weren't paying much attention. But since they move exactly the same speed as the buildings in the background, well, you might as well think that they are part of the background until you just crash against them. Again, it's a small thing, but those small things pile up, and also, yeah, again, it's there are a lot of small things that really, really pile up and make it almost unplayable. Like in the boss battles, the boss life bar in the bottom would have killed them to divide it into like sections, because it's hard to tell, especially since it doesn't have like 1,000 hit points. So every time you hit the boss, it decrements by a certain value. So why not just have those blocks separated so you can tell, well, you have to hit it 20 times or 15 times. It's easier. But when it's just one continuous bar on the bottom of the screen, again, it's so long that it's hard to even assess what percentage of health is remaining. And also, it's again, there's another mechanic that wasn't well explained. But again, it's reason to understand when you hit the boss, and like boss's life bar is divided into several sections, and while you're hitting in a boss, and this one section, the current section, while it still have hit points, you can hit the boss, and when this is depleted, there is this window of opportunity to perform, I think it's like a dashing attack. And if you don't do it, then after this window of opportunity is lost, the boss regains all the hit points in this current section of the life bar. So you have to, and since you don't, if those sections were indicated somehow, you would know that, well, there's almost, this section is almost depleted, so I have to get close to the boss and strike before time runs out. But since there's no indication, well, usually you would want to stay as far away from the boss as possible and shoot from a distance. But when this window of opportunity is presented to you, you have to rush in and do a dashing attack. And again, if this was somehow telegraphed, or you knew this was coming, you would be ready. But since there's no indication, it's a small thing, but it's a quality.
It's a moment of judgment of what you can do in a game. And I understand that a lot of people tend to do it by timing. A lot of people do it by counting, and it tends to work on certain cases. But I can see that the point you're making here is that there's a certain degree of skill and a certain degree of style that people do in video games to challenge people. From trying to challenge them into fighting a boss or a minion, for example, in the game, and try to figure out ways to avoid the said thing, the obstacle, because that in certain cases a lot of people talk about obstacles and challenges and everything else that happens in a game. Sometimes it can be very difficult for them or easy, but sometimes there's certain things that they do in the game that can also be fun to do, to accomplish.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's not that it's difficult. It's just that it's kind of bullshit. Also, in some things about the level design are just, for example, there are places where you take damage no matter what, and it's designed like that, and it's not fun because it's really cheap. It doesn't show that you need to get good, because you cannot get good unless for example, there's like a couple of places where you can notice a kind of hidden passage, so you jump there.
Most people would cheat, not get good, but cheat. I know this for a fact, because a lot of people don't always get good, but I used to remember playing the game over and over, making the same mistakes over and over and realizing, okay, I need to do something else or change it. Change my way of thinking.
Yeah, but in that case, for example, you see there's some like hidden passage which is kind of away from the main, the main progression through the level. So you think, oh, yeah, there's some hidden goodies there, because games usually reward exploration, and you go there, oh, you get a bonus, and then you get unavoidable damage, and you get like a health pack, and then you get damage, so it nullifies this health pack. And there is no reason for this hidden enemy to be there, and there's no way to avoid taking damage. So you might as well not even go there. But unless you played this level before, you don't know that this is a dickish trap, and there's no reason for it.
I'm gonna point out something here because I'm looking at a story right now. According to EA, Battlefield did poorly because of single player.
Well, of course, it's EA or it's trying to bullshit people.
Here's the thing. I played a lot of the Battlefield games from 3, from I think around Battlefield 2, Battlefield Bad Company. And when they started out, the part 2 didn't do so well for Bad Company, and the story kind of declined after that. Then they did Battlefield 3. I didn't like it. It wasn't really the story mode for that was terrible. Part 4, you had this climactic ending where you had to choose which ending do you want, and I didn't like that either for Battlefield 4. And then you had World War One. I thought certain things were interesting, but certain stories were just like, no, I don't like it. Like, most of the stuff that they had was poorly written, poorly executed storylines when they did the Battlefield series. Part 1 I did like. Part 2 for Bad Company was just like, okay, I like it. When are you going to make the third one? They didn't want to, because part 2 didn't sell that well for them, so they decided to not make another sequel for it. And in my experience with EA is that they are not really good at storytelling like they used to back then. Like when they did the first Battlefield, and then they did the Battlefield Modern, then they did the 2020 futuristic one. That really didn't attract a lot of people, but it did okay. EA has to realize that when they released the new one, they tried to alter the storyline based on a true story, where a bunch of I think Norwegians or Swedish people.
Norwegians, because Sweden was actually collaborating with Nazis.
Yeah,
and the funniest part is that DICE, they are from Sweden, so
they altered the storyline. They altered the storyline where men try to blow up I think a plant, I believe, in the history.
Oh, yes, it was this attack on the plant that refined heavy water, and it was the real history is actually quite interesting, and that would actually be you could make a really, really good game, or even a movie just based on that operation alone, because it's
because I heard that story too, because I heard that the guy who blew it up escaped, was chased down by a Nazi, but he outran him and beat him. The Nazi kept chasing him all the way, like I think about 20, I think it was like 30 or I think it was like about 100 kilometers. If I'm wrong. Um 100 kilometers, because I remember that the guy was like jogging away from that whole battle when he blew up that building, and got away scot-free and beat a guy who tried to pursue him because the Nazi ran out of breath because it was an endurance fight. He basically ran away whilst running away, and the Nazi was chasing after him for it. I was just like listening to that story, and I think it was an interesting story though, because they actually did succeed blowing up that whole thing, and and the guy who ran away from it became the biggest hero and legend ever in World War II.
Yeah. Also, well, speaking of historical revisionism, have you seen the video made by American Krogan about this?
I heard about it. Yeah,
it's a good video. I highly recommend. That wasn't the only big example of historical revisionism in the game, because they also tried to portray like French to be like extremely racist against the colonial forces that consist of black men, and some examples they showcase things that literally never happened.
Yeah.
I suppose that there were some officers that were racist, but like they portrayed it as if like everyone, like every Frenchman in the army was extremely racist and forced those black people to do such bad things like, I don't know, dig ditches, because apparently soldiers don't dig ditches in the war. It's not like it's everyone had to do this sooner
I know
or later.
everyone had to do this because they weren't the only ones that did this in World War I. They did this in World War II. They did this. No joke. Everyone had to do it.
Would you prefer
including the Italian women? They were forced to do it by the Germans.
By the way, would you prefer to dig a ditch or like run with a rifle under enemy fire? Because
I would rather dig a ditch.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would rather run for cover, digging a ditch.
So yeah, it's the whole thing, and if I was more conspiracy minded than I am already, I would say that people from the country that collaborate with the Nazis is trying to portray allies as worse than they were. Maybe there's some agenda behind that. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people were joking about the conspiracy theories. Like, the Nazis didn't really go away. They were all hiding out in the South Pole. And they're having sex with aliens from outer space they came in contact with. Yeah, like, that's no joke. This is true, because a lot of people believe in that conspiracy theory that the Nazis didn't go away and are possibly either living in Brazil or South America, possibly.
Although having sex with aliens part is kind of like Mass Effect.
Yeah. And it turns out, yeah, because you can imagine them, like, the last name, instead of what's his name, Shepard, it could have been Steiner or Gruber. Yeah, General Gruber tried to save the universe once again for Hitler.
I wonder which aliens would that be. Like, I don't know, Turians probably. They are kind of like almost like fascists.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be Asaria. Asaria too much, hippies and into. I don't know. Would actual Nazis who are against race mixing be okay with banging aliens, even if those aliens are space Nazis?
The only thing I know about the Asari is that they don't usually do this to. The only reason why they racely produce with other races because they want to. They don't try to rape them per se. They don't do that stuff. They basically if they really feel attracted to that person and if that person's friendly to them, they would do it. From what I understand.
the whole thing about their reproduction is kind of nebulous and not well defined because since there is no exchange of genetic material, that what exactly is it? Is it like
they do it by touch, like psychic? They basically touch a person. That's kind of the weird explanation about it. They use their minds because they're
but it doesn't explain much.
A lot of them, a lot of people suspect there's like a movie about this. Their theory about them being parasites.
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's really stretching the definition of parasite.
Like they're basically like Cthulhu type of creatures that they either touch you through the skin to get in contact with you in the mind and try to have sex with you, because it starts with some type of emotion and then they start to produce the baby for some weird reason.
Yeah, but does this baby have any does the choice of the father influence the baby in any way, or could it be like?
To my understanding of it, because I remember talking to the lady in the bar about that, she basically has the memory of both her mom and her dad. It's kind of it's a neurological thing for them. Like I don't know if it's true or not, but that's when I remember talking in part 2 with the lady in the bar talking about having my dad was a Krogan, my mom was an Asari. They both did it to each other. So yeah. And then it was like during the war they started to get busy with each other. Like I remember that story when she talked about it in the thing in part 2, the lady that owns the bar. And I forgot her name, but it turns out she also had a relation an Asari relationship, and it turns out it was the mom of what's her name, Leorna, forgot her name, because it's been a while since I played Mass Effect.
Well, they kind of retconned a lot of lore like between games. So some retcons are so weird that that's often happens when something is written by a committee.
Yeah.
Especially.
Go ahead, continue.
It's like also there's lore inconsistency. From one scene, it shows like it's heavily implied that Asari look different to different races. So each race sees them similar to their own. So humans see them as human females, like Turians see them as Turian females, and etc. But this is contradicted by all the statues of Asari, which look human. So either they really look like human, but to other races they look like them, which is a really, really big coincidence. Or this is just some writer didn't consult with the lore and it just slipped through the cracks, and it's really inconsistent with the rest of the storytelling.
Yeah, because there was a lot of discussion about this, especially conspiracy theories about the game, and a lot of people talked about the fact that they do look human to the human eye, but a lot of it they believe that the Asari are probably they possibly disguise themselves in some way because they do have a psychic ability.
Well, the problem with this theory is video cameras.
Yeah.
So it's like unless also if the that dialogue between several NPCs implied that they at the same time look at the same Sari and saw her differently, but in that case, if you took a picture or shot a video of her, what would you see in the video?
How would you see it in the video? Like,
yeah, because
it would show them as they are. It would show them as they are, not like because I do remember there were pictures of Asari, and it's kind of weird though. They actually look like us in a way, but not really. They're just humanoid.
Well, most races there are humanoid, to different extents. It's the fact that the thing, I think they borrowed it from Babylon 5, like a lot of plot points in Mass Effect borrowed from Babylon 5.
But they also, the one thing that bothered me, they also borrowed from a book, a sci-fi book that I actually did try to listen to. It's called, it's a part of this book series called the Lensman series. You ever heard of the Lensman?
No, I don't think so.
Lensman is a book series about a. Let me see if I can look up the book that I read, that I listened to, that was on an audio.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. The Lensman. The Lensman series is basically by E.E. Smith and David Kyle. It's a number of books. The first original one, I believe. Let me look it up again, because it also is based on an anime. It's called Triple Planetaria, whatever it's called. Planetaria, or whatever it's called. It was published back in 1934. It's basically it started a war. The plot was basically Triple began with 2 billion years before the present of a continuing near future. The universe has no life forms aside from the ancient artisans, Eurasians, and a few planets beside Eurasians' native world. Peaceful Eurasians have forego physical skills in order to develop a competitive mental power. Underlaying the assumption of the series based on theories of stellar evolution, extent of the book's writing, planets rarely, therefore the first and second galaxies, and billions of Edians and Dictatorial, blah blah blah. So, from what I understand, incorporates the first Lensman, details some of the interactions of natures and distinctions of breeding lines, one bearing some variant kinison, another distinguished by possessing a red bronze abrium, his hair and a golden flicker. So, the Lensman series kind of was interesting. Let me see if I can remember the Lensman. Galactic Patrol, the anime called the Lensman.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. You probably heard about the anime called The Lensman, right?
No. Well, I don't watch much anime. I've seen some, but some nothing really obscure.
I suggest you look up that one, because it is an interesting one. Because it also they also borrowed that from that idea of someone transferring their abilities and stuff and their knowledge through a lens, through a thing that they get on their hand, and it puts it on their hand, and they basically call it a lens. The thing is, this the Lensman series kind of does explain it, but it explains like the first galactic war and everything. And what happened was how Earth was being invaded and all that other stuff, and what's his name? The main character tries to defeat all of them through space battle, and won. And he became the hero, and his last name was Kennison. Now, from what I remembered about this series, I was introduced to it by the anime, because when they did Andromeda, I remember the part when they were saying, "Oh, I need to transfer this to him. I need to transfer this power to him," and it kind of reminded me of the Lensman, which they borrowed that. I believe they borrowed that from the Lensman anime.
Well, if they borrowed it, they probably butchered it because in the game it didn't make much sense.
Yeah,
well,
because what happened was the Pathfinder, the whole Pathfinder thing.
Yeah.
And of course they also talked about the fact that he was shifting abilities, which you weren't supposed to do, but he did it anyways because he tried to use this because he was shifting like not just one class, but there were several different classes you could choose from.
Yeah, well, it was supposed to be like for player convenience to encourage using different play styles depending on the situation.
Yeah,
and in a way, it's kind of like removing the last remnants of RPG mechanics from the game.
Yeah, to give them some type of that you can actually play different abilities. The problem is, it was the lack of gear, the lack of idea of what they were going to do with it. The problem was finding the right type of gear that would work with it. That was my issue with the game. And the thing was, when I saw the game, when the guy who was the Pathfinder gave the abilities to me, it kind of reminded me of the whole Lensman thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's depending on like, did they use this as a motivation for those gameplay changes, or was it used just because it justified the changes made for gameplay purposes?
I think it was for story purposes. Just to explain what happened when he tried to transfer the power to him, the abilities and everything. Like he can go to because he can multi-class as well in this game too. Like you can make your own little multi-class.
Yeah, but it's kind of the fact that this even exists in the game means that there's no incentive to commit to any play style. It's it's on one hand it's convenient, on the other hand it's your choices don't matter because you can change them. There's no permanence, so we might as well.
Well, fair enough.
It's kind of double-edged sword. It's casualization, I guess. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's true. Let me see if I could find
That's a really, really worrying trend lately. That every game, long-running series which had RPG elements, kind of ditch a lot of them, and sometimes for, I don't know, well, to my mind, good reason. Like, for example, like in Fallout 4, this really, really stupid dialogue options. Like, Fallout 4 was supposed to be like a rip-off of Mass Effect, but they ripped off the really, really the wrong type of things. All the things, why did they rip off the dialogue wheel where what it says on the screen and what your character says if you select it isn't the same, so you have to guess what this really short undescriptive summation will actually be when you select it. This is one of those things that probably the worst thing to copy.
All right.
They actually made it even worse. Like in Mass Effect, usually you can at least guess what you will say if you select this option, but when in Fallout 4, usually it's like one or two words, literally.
Yeah.
For example, sarcastic. What is it going to be? You don't know until you.
I don't mind Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was okay. Fallout 3, a lot of people still like Fallout 3. It's just Fallout 4. Fallout 4. From what I heard, a lot of people didn't like it because it didn't feel like the Fallout 4 you used to know.
Yeah, they kind of stripped away a lot of mechanics that they really casualized it way too much.
Yeah, they casualized it to the point that it wasn't useful. A lot of, especially when you're forced to find out that you're that your son is the owner of the whole secret society that keeps everyone underground.
Well, I mean, I think what they were going for is like, maybe I'm reading way too much into it, but I think the institute was supposed to be like a commentary on religion, because you know how they never explain what they do. They like God works in mysterious ways, and and you see those mysterious ways look exactly like lack of any plan. So
it was
maybe
basically
that was
revenge. It was also the revenge thing too, because basically someone stole the baby, and you witnessed that they killed either the mother or the father in the story, whether what gender you are, and you basically try to explore the whole area just to find the baby, and then you find out many years later that you were in ice for a long time trying to find out what happened to him, and then you find out, this baby is the owner of the whole institute that creates all these robots and everything.
Well, again, with the robots, they were supposed to be like, created to serve their purpose, and yet they had their independent will and ability to rebel. This is also might be like a commentary on religion, but if so, it's kind of not very well done.
I understand.
So, I know the thing is that the whole story, there is very little role playing there. So you have basically two characters with predefined backgrounds to choose from. Either this male who was a soldier or a female who was a lawyer, and again, it's in previous Fallout games you could role play as pretty much like anyone you like. This is with each game they stripped more and more of that. The first two games, if you create your custom character and not pick, there were characters to pick from, the predefined one, but if you create your custom, you could invent your own, background, what kind of character it would be, and role play. Also, again, what in previous games, especially the first two ones, there were a lot of options. Like pretty much most quests, there were several ways to go about it. Like, for example, in the first Fallout, you find this first settlement, Shady Sands, I think it's called. Yeah. Been a while since I played it. So, in one of the quests there is that, like raiders kidnap one of the, kidnap young woman. So you have, the quest is to get her back safely, and depending on what your play style is, you can just go there, guns blazing, and kill every raider, and then free her, or you can go there and say, well, just. What do you want for her to be free? There's 800 caps. Here you go, and you say, okay, she can go. You can, buy your way out of this situation without.
Which is true.
Yeah, and there are others. So again, depending on what your play style is, you might not even need to be like this brave warrior. Money solves problems not just in the game but in real life too. So might as well use that, or just. Again, there's a lot of quests, had several ways to go around about them. And also,
I want to bring up something else, because I got to change the topic here, because I know that this is... I know that you want to talk... what do you think of what happened to Liam Neeson?
Well, I haven't actually followed this situation. This week I wasn't actually
what happened was he did an interview... and this interview basically was about he kind of shocked a lot of people when he said in an interview that a friend of his was raped, and he was very upset, and this was a long time ago, and he explained it many years ago. He said, I wanted to he said in this voice that was kind of weird though, but it was kind of like, I wanted to find this man. I wanted to find the black man and beat him.
So it's kind of like
well, he went into
Taken.
he went into like he said that in this story that he went into this black neighborhood to beat him up, and I could just imagine him, and a lot of people were upset about this, reacting to him, but I can understand that a lot of people were kind of furious when he said that, but he kind of said that he was young and naive when he did this when he was younger. And he was like, I wanted to fight the black man for some reason, because I was mad and angry. And that's what happened. I went into the black neighborhood and tried to start a fight with these men. I was like hearing that interview going like, okay, I can just imagine him going like this, going like, when I saw one black man, I unzipped my pants, went behind him, pulled down his pants, and raped him. I can imagine him doing that too.
That's...
I know it would be funny if he said that, because I'll be like,
this is that shows that probably if you're famous, you should probably not give interviews like at all. Especially don't tell them more than than you should. It's a good life advice. Don't reveal too much about your personal stuff. Or, don't reveal more than it's needed. And it's true not just for famous people, but just for everyone. Like on live streams or even on in private Discord conversations, especially if your name is Crouton T.
Because he didn't seem like the type of person that would do this, but I can understand this was a long time ago. And a lot of people right now, I'm surprised that Michelle Rodriguez defended him, because I don't think he's a bad person per se. I just understood that he said this happened a long time ago. He now he doesn't do that anymore. And because he said that he was young and naive, and that's understandable in his interview. But people went after him because he was he's guilty. He did this to be racist and all this other stuff. And I'm like, look, what he did was really stupid. Yes, he should have just shouldn't mention anything about his past or anything like that. But he should have just left it as it is and say no comment about that. I'm sorry. And would have just moved on. But he had to bring it up because he had to point out some stuff. And a lot of people are upset with this because and they're literally going after him and going after his career, calling him a racist and all this stuff. And it's like, look, he did this a long time ago. He made a mistake. And the fact that he did a movie scene where Liam Neeson and Viola Davis kissed each other. There was a scene where he did called Widows, where he kissed a black woman, and a lot of people think he should be ostracized from Hollywood.
Oh, and I'm not surprised. SJWs, they care more about wearing blackface than literal infanticide.
Yeah.
That's
and of course, now I find out that they digitally removed Liam Neeson from the up-and-coming Men in Black International film.
Jeez.
Yeah,
that's a bit of an...
Yeah, they said right here, Lionsgate canceled the premiere of Liam Neeson's up-and-coming film Cold Pursuit. Neeson also canceled appearances on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. A number of fans indicated that they wanted to cancel the actor. And there's also been people waiting to digitally... Okay, there's also been people wanting to digitally remove Liam Neeson from the up-and-coming Men in Black film. Rodriguez also addresses the rumors indicated that she would no longer appear in the Fast and Furious franchise, noting that she wants to read a script of the movie before making a decision. Okay.
Wait, I mean, of course you should read a script before making a decision. I mean,
Yeah, but she openly defended Liam Neeson. Because I don't think Liam Neeson's a bad person. It's just, I can understand that, yeah, you were young a long time ago, you made a mistake, and what you did was pretty stupid. The thing was, a lot of people were talking about this whole thing, and a lot of people were talking about the issue behind it. Like, right now, people are reacting to this in a negative context to the point that they're saying, okay, this is what one person said on Twitter. It's called Fake Cult. I really hope it's not too late they digitally erase the racist fuck Liam Neeson from the new Men in Black movie. If they can magically de-age every actor in the MCU, they can digitally replace Liam Neeson in Men in Black as they should. So we're boycotting Men in Black this year because Liam Neeson is trying to be consistent. So we need a boycott Men in Black International. Besides, Liam Neeson is racist. Are we sure it's a good idea to let Liam Neeson star in Men in Black 3? I mean, actually it's Men in Black International because they already did Men in Black 3.
Yeah, and if the next one is as bad as the third one, then
everyone should. I watched Men in Black 1. I watched Men in Black 2. I even watched Men in Black 3, and they said that Liam Neeson's in Men in Black 3. Like, who is this guy? Like, Alex Bourdin, 42. You got to realize, I'm going to make a correction for you. The last Men in Black they did was when Will Smith went back in time to find out that that Agent J was tried to protect the secret from him for a long time, to find out that he basically tried to protect him from another secret, that his father was a real hero to try to save the world, and his dad died, and the kid remembered it, and he had to erase the kid's memory, and it turns out Agent J remembered it. And it was a sad story too. And he had to bring back let me see if I can remember in part 2. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember the plot line, and if I remember correctly, okay, the criminal named Boris, named the animal, Baloney, escaped from the maximum security prison in the moon and rise on Earth, takes revenge on Agent K. And it turns out Agent K was the guy who was involved with Agent J's father's death in the whole story, and tried to erase the kid's memory of what happened. And they both became Men in Black after that, in the first one. And I actually really liked that movie, because it was actually a really telling story.
Well, they had to retcon a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And not a retconning.
And then of course, this guy saying, "Are we sure it's a good idea to let Liam Neeson star in Men in Black 3?" And I'm just like, facepalm. Men in Black 3 already did happen. Why the heck are you going to try to say, are you sure that he's going to star in Men in Black 3? No, it's Men in Black International. Basically,
they can't count.
I know, they can't, they never watched Men in Black 1, 2, and 3, but yet they think this is part 3. No, it's part of a new franchise that they're trying to build out of it. And it's like, these people have no business sense, yet they're getting upset about the fact that Christopher Plummer is currently reshooting Liam Neeson's scene from Men in Black International. Like, and it comes to an interview with Independent during his press tour, action drama, Core Pursuit during the interview. Man, Liam Neeson recalled his primal reaction to hearing the story. I went inside. If I could do it right. I went inside down the area. I hope I'd be approached by somebody. I'm ashamed to say that. That I did for maybe a week, hoping some, air gestures in his fingers, a black bastard would come out of the pub and go at me about something, so I could kill him. It's like, oh, definitely. If she had said an Irish or Scot or Britannian or Lithuanian, I know I would have the same effect. I was trying to show honor and stand up for my dear friend in a terrible medieval fashion. I'm a fairly intelligent guy, and that's why I was kind of shocked of me when it came down to earth having these horrible feelings. Luckily, no violence occurred ever. Thanks be to God. I really hate doing that. I'm terrible with his voice.
Oh, your impression was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Because his voice is like, I used to know a guy. I will find you, and I will kill you. Like, I do feel bad for Liam Neeson, though, because I don't think he's like he said in the interview, but yet they continuously go after him because of that. Like, he was trying to stand up for a friend of his. And he was like, and then, of course, here's another one. He admitted committing violence that he was on the set upon. Yes, that I was feeling that I did want to lash out because my friend was brutally raped. And I thought I was defending her honor, and I admit that. And it's a learning curve. It's like they literally are getting upset with him over this. Like, he admitted that he was wrong. He admitted that he was wrong for doing that, but he didn't. Luckily, he didn't do it.
Well, you know how GWs are.
Yeah, they don't want to admit they're wrong, and it's kind of sad that they do this.
Well, this is why people should just ignore all those calls for to dip. But by the way, isn't it? Am I the only one who sees the parallels between unpersoning in 1984, like digital erase from the movie? Yeah, it's like unperson. Just remove all instances of this person being ever mentioned.
Remove all this. Remove everything from his history, including his birth date. Where he will no longer exist in memory.
Yeah, just pretend that this person never existed. Yeah.
Let's see here. All right, I'm going to bring up another one. Apparently, Movie Bob is upset. I'm so exhausted, so angry, and so incredibly bitter. Like, I've dumped a massive amount of my life energy and effort to rebuild. This is Movie Bob. A part of myself was taken from me into something. Yeah. And what happened was Russell Pitts got attacked. Not by Gamergate, but by his own people. Or rather, it feels like a lot of people might have thought it would care, didn't, is a better way to put it. Particularly inappropriate self-centric settlement in some level. But earlier someone referred to me as collateral damage in a different context. And yeah, it's obvious. Glad to acknowledge my seldom and more important player when something about me, and he did this in quotes, which none of the gesture this is, but it's pretty lousy to recognize that how many people you don't actually give you a second thought. But whatever. Let me see if I can do his accent here. Not exactly the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and not remotely as important as the words/feelings of more marginalized people adjacent to the situation.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway, here's a funny video about the stupid YouTube thing. That's what I do. And he's like, because
Yeah, he's right about be stupid YouTube videos. That's what he does.
Yeah, he does those, but it's like a lot of people are talking about this because the drama with Russell Pitts, because Russ Pitts, a lot of people are going after him because of the whole ethics and games journalism thing. Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut that.
Oh yeah, I remember when he
This is where
tried
I
to
use
say that
what I've learned.
Ethics in game journalism is not important because some really stupid reason. And by the way, like, movie blob, have you seen his book? First of all, for someone who pretends to be an intellectual, he surely cannot write for shit. And just molesting the thesaurus, it doesn't count for actually being educated.
It's called ego.
Yeah, you can see that he really tried to portray himself as being smarter than he is, because you can see he just went through thesaurus to look up some really obscure synonyms for normal words, because apparently if you use words that nobody else uses, then people can confuse you for being smart and educated. Especially,
I haven't seen Victor Lucas in a long time. Jesus, he's now writing for. Now he's writing for The Escapist now. That's weird.
Who is that? Victor Lucas?
He used to be on G4. Now he's doing EP Electric. I think it's called EP Daily. I think it was Electric. I forgot what it's called though. But he makes some really good content. He used to be on G4 a long time ago. He used to do a lot of really entertaining shows for them.
Well, I've never heard of him before. And
Yeah,
so.
yeah. He used to be. Let me see if I could find his background, because he used to be on G4 a lot back in the days when it first came out, and then they transferred over to let me see if I could find it. Victor Lucas was he's 50 years old. He used to be known for EP Daily on Reviews on the Run and Electric Playground. But it was mostly viewed in Canada. But Reviews on the Run was pretty good, because he usually goes to, formerly known as Judgment Day in the United States, and Reviews on the Rock, early seasons of Electric Playground video games. The review TV show was hosted by Victor Lewis and Scott C. Jones, permanently replacing the position of Tommy Tallarico. The show produced at Lucas's company by Greedy Productions. Two hosts rate the games independently by scale of 0.5 points, equivalents of from 0 to 10. The show aired in Canada on the G4 Canada. And I used to remember watching this too. It was also aired in the United States as Judgment Day, and he was a really good host. But he's more focused on doing Electric Playground.
Let's see.
Which is streamed on Twitch, which I recommend you guys check out his content. because Victor's a really good guy. But I understand that the sad part is Russell Pitts is being attacked by all of this.
Now, speaking of, since you mentioned Movie Blob,
yeah,
I remember
it's because Russell Pitts got attacked by his side because of the whole games journalism issue, and it kind of brought back a lot of old wounds because he brought up the whole ethical games journalism thing.
But by the way, speaking of Movie Bob, I remember seeing a video where like people played this game. The host read a quote and then asked to guess if it was a Movie Bob quote or a quote from neo-Nazis. And the rule those participants developed was that if it sounds remotely intelligent, it's probably a neo-Nazi because Movie Bob's quotes are just completely brainless. So if a quote is at least somewhat intelligent and coherent and well spoken, it's not Movie Bob. That was the funniest part. If you've read his book, or at least some of the excerpts, because reading the whole thing is just the first one about Super Mario Bros. 3. The whole book is completely unreadable because it's, it has a really weird mix of his memoirs and just let's play in text form. First of all, let's play in a text form is a really, really fucking stupid idea. I mean, it's, for
let's see.
Well, it's not a stupid idea.
This is what happened. Russell Pitts posted on Escapist magazine. Yesterday, was a bad day. It was a reminder the smallest actions can have a big impact for everyone. Yesterday, Escapist magazine published an article by me that many found offensive, upsetting, and unnecessary. To make matters worse, I said some things on social media that were truly terrible. To Zoe Quinn and everyone who rightfully admires her silent resilience in the face of a terrible ordeal, I generally am sorry, but I diminished your experience of abuse. I should have spoken to you that way, not in public, but in private, anywhere, not to expect forgiveness. To all of you who have followed me, supported me, merely watched make a fool of myself for decades, I let you down. I'm sorry. Twitter has traditionally been a release for me and a place to connect very openly honestly with followers, and it has also been, better for worse, a place where I vent, but I'm not a person that I was 10 years ago. The way I used to use that platform has changed it. Entering the middle age, having built a platform and an audience in multiple organizations, a career, and a name myself, I realize the resentment. I won't go into too much detail about our reasons for publishing the article or weeks of work and the editorial team spent trying to ensure it would add value to the conversation rather than be yet another flashpoint for escapists. We had good intentions and personally felt that we had to at least reference the painful events of 2014, not despite but because of this website's role in them. Ultimately, I was wrong, and the article was simply not the right thing for us to publish at the time. Some of you knew that, some of you told me that, and not hearing as you and me, and again, I'm sorry. That's what he said.
Well, since he apologized to HWs, he's screwed.
Yeah.
Never ever apologize to the fucking degenerates.
So you think the article shouldn't be criticized? I think people are criticizing it are doing very cliquey reasons involving not wanting to their professional criticized it, and I think caving into them. It's like they're pretty much talking about this. who cucked it out doing what now? And it's like some guy, okay, not good enough. Wasn't the level of microaggressions, but still it hurts so many in the community. There's so many
Microaggressions?
I know. It's like there's so much unpacked here. Please rethink your career. Me too. Hashtag me too, Ghostbusters and other kin. I think that was a troll. Yeah, Russell Pitts does not like me. Neither does Escapist. I know that because they probably blocked me. Let me see if they blocked me on.
Well, Escapist has gone to shit lately, from what I heard.
Yeah,
like under
it's under new management by Russell Pitts, and Russell Pitts does not.
Well, that's problem. At the same time, they rehired Movie Blob. You know, any outlet that hires Movie Blob, and not to be like a comic relief, unwritten comic relief, but actually unironically hired him. Well, they have no integrity. I mean, come on, Movie Blob is almost as bad as Shit Rat. Not quite, but almost. As I said, less eloquent, less intelligent Nazi.
Yeah, so apparently Victor Lucas has joined up with Escapist Magazine. So that's the announcement.
Also, the whole thing about poor Zoe Quinn being a victim is probably
message
because
from Redcons from Victor Lucas. This is what he said: "We never mean to offend anyone with our first taste of Redcons, of Red Recon. We knew the teaser clip, unforgettable. The subject matter itself is uncomfortable, and I believe Ellie struggles to express herself after the PR person was working with and encouraged her to be honest and open and remarkable, unfiltered, and looked how painful looking like Riot's abuse scandal it is. It affects everyone. It's the Riot games scandal thing is more powerful clip because that rawness and effort to find the words, but it's also true that we are too close to the material and we have erred with our first release of out of context footage. I'm deeply sorry for this, that Ellie Pyle, what her name is, most of all to all of our friends at Riot and anyone who we've hurt in the release of the material. I'm sorry, was never our intention. Recon is not a gotcha show. It's a show about people who with extraordinary passion for working hard in interesting places to make art. It's celebration of the human desire to entertain through games in effort to entrail. Riot was a unique stop for us in our first season. We knew that the addition to the cool working being done within the interest of creative space, there was something dark that we had to discuss. It's a small part of the conversation we had with Riot, but it was a powerful part. So what did we do from here? We launched the show. You've seen the teaser. You've seen the uncomfortable couple of minutes in hours of interviews we shot. The material you'll see in the Recon made up of the studio visits and the casual conversations about the culture and people that work together to make incredible things. The process of traveling to these studios, conducting these interviews, have been some of the most gratifying work I've been able to do 25 years in the industry. I'm hoping you watch and enjoy. Thank you, Victor Lucas, executive producer and host of Recon. I think that's what happened. A lot of people reacted to Victor Lucas's new show that he did, and I never really, I guess this is a part of games journalism that when you do Recon, I'm gonna have to look up Recon. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Well,
that's what happened.
Yeah, but no, this whole apology is still kind of vague and non-specific, so it's hard to understand what exactly was the thing, or why the whole the whole noise about this. So they released some video clip that was portrayed someone in a not very positive light or something.
Yeah, that's what happened with somebody in Riot.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Sometimes your audio breaks off.
Yeah, I probably might have just pressed the button.
Well, now
Okay.
it also kind of
Yeah,
broke off.
here's the article that happened. An apology from the editor from Chief Russ Pitts from Escape. Yesterday was a bad day and a reminder of the smallest actions that. Okay, so the article that they released and Russ Pitts, basically, former producer at Tech TV, the creator of Human Angle, which those shows didn't do so well. Co-founder of Polygon. That's why Escapist Magazine decided to trash all this stuff. Twitter has traditionally been released from me, blah blah blah. I won't go into too much detail, blah 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 blah. I'm sorry for okay. So this is the whole article that happened, and he apologizes for it. And a lot of people are starting to do this. Okay, you're the father that sound like a liberal snowflake. Okay. Turn them and burn them. The late father introduced me to the phase in the early 90s. So back in leading companies and computer industry took advantage of emergencies of an entire generation of tech geeks that grew up in the first broadly accessible home PCs. Kids suddenly graduated from college and degrees in computer science and found themselves sought after. IBM, GE, Microsoft, and countless smaller companies. Big companies hired the best and the brightest in mass and paid them the average salaries and proceeded to work giddily 70 hours and more a year, reaching to the point that an empty septic tank of drinking straws and stare down a computer anymore. Like, these are the reactions that people are making.
So it's about this. That scandal about long working hours and bad conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get it either, because this has nothing to do with the conversation, and this is the mod that's doing this. Except, even the art here in the article, that's not possible. The real trick of going to repeating defensive circles lets them dedicate the direction of the conversation. Rule 1, the alt-right playbook, always being attacking. It doesn't matter if you are wrong, the opponent has to waste all their mental energy and points. You want them, and lets the conversation away areas that you want to explore.
Oh no, not the alt-right, the Reddit alt-right.
Yes, and everyone
is alt-right. Oh,
yes,
we're under attack.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, we're under attack by the alt-right.
Yeah, it's the new Illuminati.
Yeah, and the Illuminati, and the KGB, and the CIA. Oh my god, we're gonna get attacked. Like,
CIA nippers glow in the dark.
Yeah, they glow in the dark and try to... Yes, you're gonna tell us that. Like, oh my god, what the hell you thinking? You think we was Kangs and stuff? Like, next thing you know, you're gonna tell us that we abduct you in a UFO and then and put an anal probe in you? No, we didn't do that stuff. You did.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are these people? What the hell were they? Were they taking meth?
Well, I think it's the opposite. They were off their meds.
They're off their meds. When people think of good journalism, they think interpretive reporters doing a lot of lead work and gathering information, and then the importance is still having because of this. You can hate them all you want because they reported facts that that you're uncomfortable, but everyone agrees that we need some sort of press as a necessity. Games journalism can't really cling into that, but how how much actual hard probing work do games journalists do to break stories that aren't that of the PR or marketing project. Whenever someone actually does something resembling real journalism, even other game journalists joke about how rare it seems to be. So as the news media relies on opinions and articles and on-the-air analysts to keep relevant in major gaming publications, have to rely on reviews. People will naturally have different opinions on views on games and everything else, but all too often it seems like reviews are not written by true enthusiasts, but by people who are hired due to their English and communication degrees and play a lot of games as a job. What they find good in the game isn't always the same as what the majority of fans like. As a result, the bulk of reviews from major publications tend to represent the kind of majority view, like Dragon Age 2 was 5 out of 5 games. Nothing wrong with the minority reviews or critic reviews, but it shouldn't be every review from the publication. When you combine the fact that the major publications and just reprinting of PR fluff and rumors that are part of the marketing campaign, the lack much of real investigation journalism, the reviews seem to have come more disconnected from the views of the most players. And it's really not that surprising that people crow about publications pushing viewpoints behind cheap veils of journalism. I think some people bottle it up, these complaints, into a moniker of ethics and didn't initialize and realize the movement championing ethics stated as out of a bunch of acidic channelers looking to brigade women they didn't like on Twitter, or fools believing the industry can be revived by the golden age of blind faith and enthusiasm for things of fan service related. So that's what they see us as.
Oh, poor woman being attacked by evil misogynists, and also I like how they put in those just some. So they pretty much admitting that people who are games journalists, they aren't actually gamers. They just they know how to write English, which is also kind of debatable given how poorly some of those articles are written, and they just they're not gamers. They're just journalists who weren't good enough to be actual journalists, so they became games journalists, and that's why they give good ratings to shitty games, because those games have leftist agenda. That's pretty much it. This was like what the article meant.
Yeah.
It was just more politically correct.
And here's another one that I kind of somewhat agree with, but there's something about it that kind of. People on both sides are divided and got harassed, doxed after GG. Is it correct to say both sides were toxic? No. Low. Now it's reconnected. The conversation, because of those who insisted on sowing discord and who insisted on focusing solely on the discord, I myself follow the whole ordeal since the beginning, stating learning in favor of Gamergate when I realized how the media and both the gaming mainstream was totally misrepresenting what gaming was about. The annoyance of discussion on both pro and anti often found that the pro GG side was more receptive to the centrist approach towards the discussion of anti-GG, usually wanting to zero discussions unless it was them to tell me what a bad person I am. Of course, there were troublemakers on both sides, and the GG ones really did shine bright, but got exposed more. But would you expect out of the leaderless internet movement, it was a coincidence that most victims of GG rose to prominence because of it, and it fizzled out in relevance the moment GG did? Everyone stood to gain from having GG be a scapegoat, and everyone except those who wanted to talk about the issue at hand.
Just the author of this article should stop pussyfooting and not trying to be this like fake centrist. Oh yeah, there are bad people on both sides. One side was full of rapists, degenerates, and convicted felons, as it turned out. Remember, those some of those anti-gamer journalists.
There was more than that, and there was also
like some of them are in prison for rape right now. Yeah. So there's that.
And I would like to point out, and I will admit to this, because I know Ralph got into trouble punching because he got drunk. This was an incident where he got drunk and decided to punch somebody. Then there was a guy that I used to know, really nice guy, but unfortunately his wife, I met his wife and talked to her online on Discord before, and what happened to her was she kind of went to the Portland Authority, Portland, Oregon, and got him arrested, and he became this big news thing because he used to be a Gamergate supporter, and it was Metamorpho, whatever his name is, starts with an M, Metamorphosis or something like that. And I remembered he caused a lot of drama within Gamergate at the time, and of course he got arrested and sent to prison for revenge porn.
I think I've heard something about that, but I don't remember.
He was sent to prison for it in Oregon, Portland, in Oregon.
Good riddance then.
Yeah, he was an asshole because I found out that he tried to use because they did this. I remembered what's his name did a gaming giveaway, and he stole all those keys to bribe somebody to go to a MagFest panel.
Yeah, there's
and a lot of people were upset about that because those keys were given and donated to us to give away. It was basically to give away to people that want to play games. And people were accusing us of, this is about harassment, and it's like, no, we just basically gave we even gave a free game to a porn star. As I remember, Mia, not Mia Khalifa, but Mia. But she was really nice. I actually nominated her, and she actually agreed to take one.
What game was it, by the way?
I forgot. Remember? I think it was Red Dead Redemption, or no, it wasn't that one. It was I think it was like one of those shooter games.
Well, it doesn't narrow it down too much. One of those shooter games. That's a bit broad.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that, and I had to agree with this person because there was only like a few. There's like only like right now 5 people caught in Gamergate, while they have like more than 8 people. Like they have more than 8 people caught in their side being toxic, and also caught.
I wouldn't say like 8, more like 80.
80. Yeah.
Well, Mumbot had a list of the most prominent anti-Gamergaters who got caught. Actually, let me find it. Mumbot, where are they now? Oh, there's this convenient list of links, and it's obviously incomplete because there's. I'll post the link in here in Discord.
Okay.
Called "Where Are They Now?"
Where are they now? Because I know there's like a long list that I remembered, and she keeps adding more people to the list.
Yeah,
and I think they should make their own list. But the problem is they don't keep track of people. They don't even care.
Hello. I think your internet connection is really flaky.
Yeah, it does a lot because my connection in Washington. Let me go ahead and let me see if I can do something here. Do it again.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
So if you want, I can go through some of those.
Yeah, like Devin
Some of those-
Ferrazzi was another one.
Oh, Devin Ferrazzi, yeah, that guy. He was fired after his shenanigans became public. Then he was rehired, and then after it happened, there was an outcry, so he was fired the next day after that. It was a fucking shit show.
Yeah, because he got accused. What happened was,
Centers.
oh yeah, I remember Juan. What's his name? Juan Pierce or Juan? I forgot his name. Juan Thompson. Matt Hickey.
Well, the video on the stream is back.
Yeah,
So-
I'm having connection issues. It tends to do that. And oh yeah, everyone who loves Josh Whedon, his wife divorced him. Let's see, Sam Chris, Rupert Myers, who called us a lot of bad names, and Francisco Van Joel, editor-in-chief of the site, apologize for rape. Rex, basically, and is also his co-owner, and Tarika, Tony Rika. That's what happened. But unfortunately, they have more people in their side. That have done worse things to the community. That's what happened.
Or your audio is back. Yay.
Yeah, I've been having connection issues.
Yeah, I blame glow in the dark neighbors.
That guy does some weird, like he's a programmer, but I can't help but laugh at him because he's insane. He's an insane genius that makes these programs.
Well, Terry Davis. Well, he's dead now. Well, at least now he got to meet his client, for whom he programmed his Temple OS.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Terry. Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
It's really sad that such a really talented, smart individual also was royally screwed in the head. Sad. Actually know someone kind of like that, who also is really, really smart, but has schizophrenia, which is really sad. Oh well. Oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh. I was afraid that his connection was severed again. Yeah, it's kind of not even uncommon for people who have for talented people to also have some severe mental issues. It's just,
Yeah.
really, really sad.
Yeah, because a lot of them were basically telling us, and it's like I don't really care because a lot of them just get upset and butthurt about it, and it's like, look, I'm not gonna try to deny any of this stuff, but the problem is a lot of these people didn't consider the option of trying to maybe we should try to be more PR friendly instead of accusing people left and right, but the problem is they still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah.
those accusations. a lot of this stuff, well, it's probably one of those things. A lot of this stuff will be settled by history in the end.
Eventually.
Again, so many of those SJWs are, it wasn't. Some of them were exposed to be complete degenerates only recently.
Yeah.
So time will tell how many more of those. Because when you see someone just really from the riding the moral high horse and moralizing all the time, there's the lady doth protest too much. So usually they have some deep dark secrets of their own if they want to pretend to be upstanding morals. Because no people have their morals in check. They need to do this. They don't usually do this. Those who scream the loudest, those are with the darkest secrets.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see how many more of them get exposed. It's like it's the same with the By the way, it's funny how Gamergate was kind of like training ground. It showed us how things will unfold. Later, because Gamergate red-pilled so many people about the bias in the media and how the media is lying to everyone and how the agendas running wild and facts are being discarded. Then after this,
facts are being. I would correct it as facts are being scrambled.
Yeah, or you don't need to invent facts. You just discard those which don't fit your narrative, embellish those which do, and just with some clever and creative editing, you can create a narrative that goes against reality but seems plausible. Well, at least if you care, because usually those fake news media, they don't even care. Just make shit up and say, oh, anonymous sources told us. Well, which sources? I can say, well, anonymous sources told me that those journalists were seen smoking PCP and on the street corner and pledging their undying love to Satan. Again, anonymous sources. My journalistic integrity prevents me from revealing which those sources are, but it's totally real, and those sources I totally didn't make up just on the spot.
It's kind of funny how a lot of them,
given how after Gamergate,
I like to bring up something. The fact that they bring up these like war stories about Gamergate, it kind of reminds me of the fact that they either were on drugs when this happens, when they talk about or they were drunk. Like they blame us for the whole thing. Like they blame us for their alcoholism, they blame us for their drug use, they blame us for all this stuff, and it's like you can imagine them saying that. Like that's the thing about them, is that they blame us for everything, but they don't take responsibility for themselves. Hello, logic here.
Well, it actually fits perfectly into my theory that a lot of them, if not all of them, have cluster B personality disorders. Because if you see like histrionic personality disorder, one of the symptoms is never accepting personal responsibility and blaming others for your own failures. So there's that. By the way, let me actually see the those symptoms. I'll read some of those and just check how many fit. Like, for example, for histrionic personality disorder, like constant seeking of reassurance or approval, excessive sensitivity to criticism or disapproval, pride of own personality and unwillingness to change, viewing any change as a threat, a need to be the center of attention. Rapidly shifting emotional states that may appear superficial or exaggerated to others. Making rash decisions, blaming personal failures or disappointments on others.
Yeah, that's
being
pretty
overly
much
dramatic and emotional.
Yep.
And again, it's like
some of them are showing signs of it. Especially they bring out these ridiculous accusations, like, oh, you're going up against the trans people. I'm like, no. Who are you again? That's the thing. It's like they come out of nowhere with these accusations of conspiracy, and then they bring up the fact that, oh, this person's harassing me. But here's the thing. when they make a statement on Twitter, people are going to react to that statement and then just send a message to them. And the fact that when you expect people to, either agree or disagrey with you on that statement, sometimes you're going to get people that are going to be like, no, that's stupid. And then you're going to react to it and say, oh, you're harassing me. You're harassing me for you don't know anything about me. I don't know you. And I'm like, yeah, but who are you?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of times when these people are caught doing something, quite immoral or otherwise not very socially acceptable, they will play the victim and pretend that they are harassed, and just Banana Wu and what's her name, Sui Park, and all of them. Even lately, Ian Miles Chong, when he was exposed for being the much worse version of Mundane Matt, suddenly he wrote this article about being persecuted. Like, help, I'm being repressed. That's
I'm laughing.
Violent inherent in the system.
Yeah, I'm like, there's the people that deny, like, they try to, like, I remember some Canadians used to have this saying, like, they say that I will replace my reality with, like, they always do that whole concept of replace reality.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they do. That's what SJW... Yeah, that's the Canadian mentality of SJWs.
The funny thing is that this phrase was popularized by Adam Savage, and Adam Savage is kind of like a big mangina SJW cock.
Yeah, and I really hate that I substitute my reality with yours, and I'm like, no. I'm not substituting my reality with yours. I'm not substituting any of that shit, because that's just stupid. That's called manipulation.
I was speaking of Adam Savage, I actually have an old meme about him. Let me find it. It's how when he was defending.
Because I can imagine that whole Ultra, whatever is that called, 5K Ultra or 4K Ultra experiments.
Oh, MK Ultra.
Yeah, MK Ultra. Like, I think, and especially what's his name denied that, the Prime Minister of Canada denied the existence of that happening in Canada.
Well, it's a... Yeah. Oh, by the way, I found this meme. I posted it in the Discord.
Okay.
About that, I've heard some really, really nasty stuff was happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Adam Savage. There's not a single religion that can survive the two worlds. Prove it. If you're yelling "prove it" in my Twitter feed, you're not actually having a discussion. You're being a dick. Stop it or unfollow me. The meme.
And this was, I think it was in reference to either it was when he was white knighting for Rebecca Watson or some similar stuff. So
yeah,
it was like, oh, how all those evil misogynists everywhere, and people are asking, well, prove it, those accusations, and if you say prove it, you're being a dick. By the way, using of sexist language there, Adam.
No, I thought he was a myth buster.
Yeah, well,
yeah, he's supposed to. Apparently, he can't bust the myth about harassment. Okay.
Well, I think he wanted to bust a nut so hard that decided to go with the flow.
Yeah, because you're supposed to prove it by busting the myth of it being true or not.
You were the chosen one. You were supposed to bust the myths, not support them. I asked you, don't say prove it on my Twitter. Really?
Yeah, that you're supposed to bust the myth about things that are probably true or false, like the myth about us being misogynist, the myth about us being like, you gotta confirm this shit. Like, yes, you do have the evidence, but why are you trying to get upset about it?
Well, that's the thing. Jamie Heineman was still better than him in the Mythbusters, and he was a smarter too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna change the subject here. Did you hear about the Learn to Code hashtag? If you do it, you get banned.
Yeah, some people are permanently banned from Twitter now. Like, for example, let me find this screenshot. Margaret got permanently, banned. So apparently, people who were tweeting about doxing the Covington kids and even feeding them to the wood chipper are still on Twitter. But Learn to Code is harassment.
Is harder harassment, and yet they actually try to dox and put out information, and they're still on Twitter of the kids.
Oh. Hey, you know what it is? Double standard.
I know. I made a joke about it. If someone showed up with pussy hats and a guy showed up with a cowbell, banging on the cowbell in front of them, is that going to be considered a threat to anybody while he plays Fear the Reaper from Oyster Cult? Like, is that gonna really cause a controversy there? Come on, I could probably pull it off. It'd be like showing up there and then people with pussy hats, and then just bang a cowbell in front of them, like, and play Fear the Reaper on there.
Well, this is a dog whistle, and you are calling them cow because they are feminists, and this is very, very sexist, and because everything is a dog whistle. Just ask David Shitrat.
It's like,
oh, this fucking dog whistle.
I can imagine that happening, but how is that gonna be newsworthy if a guy shows up with a cowbell in front of people, and they'll probably say that's harassment with a guy with a cowbell banging on the freaking cowbell, and in front of all the people who wear the little pink hats on their head, and and seeing that happen, and then it be newsworthy, it goes viral, and they'll try to dox him too, the guy who did the banging of the cowbell and everything. Like, yeah, I can imagine that happen if that actually did happen. If anyone steals that idea from me, go ahead and do it in front of those people, record it, and see what happens. Test that out to see the point where they would react to it in a negative, if they reacted to it negatively, or 4chan reacts to it to a way that they'd be like, this guy's playing a cowbell in the freaking what the.
Well, by the way, the fact that this SJW is so acting so unhinged and reacting so aggressively, it means that it shows that they are losing, and they know this, because it's kind of desperate. It's really out of desperation. If they were on top of their game, they would need to stoop that low. They know that their power is escaping their grasp. It's flowing through their fingers, and the harder they try to grasp, the quicker they lose it.
All right,
and they can't help it.
Here's another thing that's on the news. The University of Georgia staff defends racist TA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the UGA TA Arma Osage Frobna, or whatever his name, Frimpong, stirred up controversy with numerous anti-white racist tweets on social media posts starting back from September, which includes some white people may have to die for black communities to be made whole in the struggle to advance to freedom. Fighting white people is a skill, really. It's no reason. I'm in support of integrated schools. You have to get used to it. Fighting white people. There are ways in which white people in the Southern learn manners in a series of behaviors. The way autistic kids learn to read social cues for behaviors.
So basically, not only is this racist, but also ableist.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
While
the
not,
thing is,
not as bad as teenagers smirking in mage hats, UGA took a bold stance and said that his personal views do not reflect the university. It was only until people were going to stop funding the school months later that they looked into the actions they could legally consider in accordance with the First Amendment. Ironically, this has led to the staff's UGA to write the president a letter defending the victimized TA, stating to the university, historically steeped in slavery and segregation, in the recent attempts to bury the past, its role to destruction of established black communities through the urban renewal, it perpetuates the generous poverty by paying a large portion of its staff, especially its African American staff, extremely low wages, protecting Mr. Ofsi Fompog from right to speak freely and challenging the long history of white supremacy in the country. The communities, especially unwanted, should not be controversial, that this is the university's job.
so well, I think that the only way to stop this is just stop funding all those universities that defend this degeneracy and see how quickly they learn their lesson. Because get woke, go broke, and the quicker they go broke, the louder this message becomes. By the way, remember this the whole Mizzou and Evergreen, those universities are kind of fucked.
Yeah,
the enrollment is down.
Yeah, because of the drama that happened in the school. Like, I didn't want to go to that school because of the fact that what happened in Evergreen College.
Yeah, and the thing is that the longer it goes, because if enrollment is low 1 year, it's not just for 1 year; it's for like 4 or 5 years. How long this course takes? So even 1 year low enrollment will be felt for several years. The effects of that, and if there's enrollment is low for several consecutive years, with each year it's going to get worse and worse. So, yeah, get woke, go broke.
Yeah.
And so, again, serves them fucking right.
Yeah,
They
because
deserve
a lot of people are very upset about this, because this kind of stuff that happens is like, I don't really have a problem with people wearing like the hats in general. And this whole situation with the college, the guy said some racist tweets. You're not supposed to say those things, but unfortunately they did this with the freedom of speech. But unfortunately, when it comes to the issue of freedom of speech, you all want to eliminate it. Freedom of speech from people.
Well, my view is that, they can hire whoever they want, but if they hire such racist degenerates, they should not receive any federal funding at all. So if they want to hire those degenerates, they should do it from for private funds. Just raise funds from the private sector and hire whoever you want. And see how many people will actually give them money to hire those degenerates.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the Anime News Network. Editor-at-large Mike Toole calls out YouTube channel Clownfish TV and Lost Pause as Nazis over Vic Mignogna video. Yeah, you talked about that.
Oh, yeah. As I said, Anime News Network is JWs. Whatever they say should be ignored.
Yeah.
By the way, Clownfish TV, I've seen some of their videos.
Yeah, their content's pretty good. They don't.
Yeah, they're not Nazis.
They're not Nazis. And I could say one thing about them. They're not really that bad. They're not bad people. It's just that the editor, Mike Toole, is a baka, as I would call him.
Well, his name is Tool. What a tool, literally.
What a tool. Mike, what a tool.
What a fitting name.
What a fitting name. The irony of it. And it turns out he writes hentai reviews, because he used to be on the sister site that does hentai reviews.
I guess maybe he should befriend Kurt Eichenwald so he can share his expertise in all things tentacle related. Kurt is a connoisseur.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll probably go with what's his name. Well, he could probably discuss an interesting conversation with our favorite conspiracy theorist, Alex Jones, about about trap anime.
Oh. Oh. Don't give Alex Jones ideas. If he starts watching hentai. Oh.
Yeah, Alex Jones got caught looking up transgender porn. And I was just like, oh, that's a big surprise.
I guess he drank too many chemicals in the water.
He did. Oh boy, I gotta go because I think that I'm just getting to, but I'm gonna continue on and try to talk about this because there's a lot of things that surprising because I don't think that the people who are upset about this, especially the whole Vic Mignogna situation, I don't think Vic Mignogna is a bad person. I know that a lot of people, he's a bit of a dick from what I heard from people. And yeah, I can confirm a lot of stuff that he did because I used to go to a convention with him one time and saw him once. He was a bit of a dick to me when I asked him questions about certain things. And he seemed like a nice guy, but to his fans, he's a very nice person. To me, he can be a bit of a dick, but he's not a bad person. And I don't think he is a bad person. The problem here is that a lot of people are upset hearing rumors about him being a bad person because it came out in the time when he did the Brawley movie. And that Brawley movie became a big success, and a lot of fans are upset about this, and a lot of fans that are defending it. And it's like, I don't have an issue. I'm kind of in the neutral zone of this because the problem is you can believe in the victims. Yes, you can believe in the victims, but you also have to be skeptical of the victims as well if they are lying or telling the truth. The whole situation with, it's kind of like my situation with Mercedes Carrera. She's a nice person, but at the same time, you know, it felt like a dagger to my heart when I heard the news. But at the same time, you know, I realized these are accusations, and she got arrested for them. And in California, they take that shit literally seriously. And I know this for a fact that they denied her bail. And if the evidence proves otherwise that she didn't do it, then she's fucked. Because they take that stuff literally seriously, hardcore in California.
Well, I mean, they should. That's serious stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, because they denied her bail. And I know in California, when you're denied bail, that means you really, really pissed them off.
Yeah, well, guess we shall see what comes out of it. Oh, no. You never know.
Because they basically said they denied that they were not guilty of this whole thing. And a lot of people are kind of surprised by this and are shocked by this whole situation because she didn't realize what she did. And it's kind of like the whole situation, I'm kind of skeptical what happened. But at the same time, you know, I know from experience that in California, when it comes to a child, they sometimes take it literally seriously. And if that person's been denied bail, they will throw the whole book at you and you're guilty as fuck. Because they have substantial amount of evidence against you, and therefore you cannot go anywhere. They don't trust you. They don't like you. You are scum to them. Therefore, they put you in jail seriously.
Yeah, well, yes, we should wait and see. That's 2019 is starting off as really a turbulent year.
Yeah, it's a turbulent year for what's going on, and the fact that this happened is a surprise. And I do feel bad for Mercedes, but at the same time I don't, because she's a nice. Because when I met her one time and I talked to her, and that was it. That was it. She seemed like a good person, but at the same time, she kind of felt like she was wearing a mask behind that mask.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes people who seem the nicest have the darkest secrets.
Yeah, and I kind of understand that a lot of people are skeptical about people, and it's kind of like I am skeptical about a lot of people, and the thing that bothered me the most about this was, in the case of Vic Mignogna, I don't think he did it, but people are accusing him of this, and of course a lot of people are really trying to frame him.
Well, if there's an entire conspiracy to frame him for something,
well, there is evidence of it, but the thing is they're literally trying to put him downhill. They're literally trying to ruin his career because of these accusations.
I'm really wondering why are they so persistent on this and so enthusiastic about this? Usually such animosity comes from somewhere, I guess.
I guess it's because because I know that there's like some fans in the LGBT community do not like him because he does not sign yaoi art that is not considered canon. That was one of the issues that they brought up. And there was another one about the Holocaust thing. Like he like they were bringing up stuff from the past that he did many years ago.
Such as
questions about, because he was trying to address a fan about some stuff about, like, he said something like the Holocaust is happening, like the whole people were running outside thing at a convention that he went to, and he tried to explain what happened, that he used that term in a vague word.
Given the reaction, you'd think he said that Holocaust didn't happen. That's why they're so upset.
Yeah, and the thing was, he wasn't trying to, say that the Holocaust didn't happen. Heck, in history, it did happen. Like, but it's kind of like the people who denied the Armenian genocide didn't happen.
Yeah, well, it's funny how. In some countries, questioning the Holocaust is a crime, but it's the only genocide that is illegal to question.
Yeah, like, I know the Young Turks were probably laughing whenever people bring up the name. They bring up the name, the Armenian. They would actually ask them, "What are your thoughts about the Armenian genocide?" And they would probably.
Well, they're not laughing. They're just really spazzing out lately. Especially, you've probably seen this Anna Kasparian going ape shit.
I know.
It was a fodder for shit posts. It looked like she was playing a piano.
I know a lot of people were like making memes of her, especially the whole "I'm better than you" meme.
Oh yeah, that one. But by the way, have you noticed that even though they have millions of subscribers, the views on their videos are piss poor? So their channel is stagnating. It's a nice way to put it, because it's pretty much dying.
Yeah, it's pretty much dying because they decided to go, because they used to be known for being honest, with both sides of the thing. Now they're just going for the lefty pole politics. Oh
yeah, it's like, and they get things wrong so often, and it's so easy to demonstrate. Especially since, by the way, I remember lately, what's his name? Dame Pesos made a video showing their 2018 meltdown, and this video got more views than the original video where he took it from. It's the funniest thing. So that should tell you something about their popularity. Oh, this is just.
I know
hilarious.
A lot of people are laughing about it.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I think your sound cut out just
Yeah,
before that.
it happens a lot. I've been trying to figure out a way to get that fixed.
Just run them over with a car. It's easy to see them. They glow in the dark. I'm hammering this joke into the ground at this point. Oh, anyways. Oh, I'll probably get off the stream for now.
Alright, I better probably end the stream. Yeah, it's getting late. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, even though I don't get that many views on this channel. Can you please share, like, subscribe, whatever. Just do what you want to do. It's your choice. I don't want to force anyone to watch a garbage stream like this one, but I recommend you check out your stream. Hello?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Oh. If you want a link to my channel, or
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
a
because
moment.
I'll show them the link to your channel.
So like my main channel is this, and well, because I had a strike on my main channel, I have to stream from a different one. Well, it's a good separation of shit posts and live shit posts. That's kind of my content.
Okay.
It's like two channels. One is my personal, where I actually I promised people to make more videos, and someday I will make. But the other one is like the home of the most autistic show on YouTube, Hentai HW Ultra Degeneracy. And by the way, our unofficial slogan is "At least we don't fuck kids." And the funniest thing is that
at least you're not at least you're not Anthony Birch.
But the funniest thing is that we came up with this just like as a joke, and several weeks later there was like a scandal with UN troops engaging in some sexual deviancy, and some official said, "Oh, the scandal is nothing serious. The way it was blown up in the media is as if we're killing children or something." I didn't realize they would actually go with this same excuse. Oh, at least we don't kill kids. That's kind of.
This is privilege.
You can't even joke about anything without it becoming true in some form or another.
This is the Privileged Shivlord page. You can subscribe to him. I really wanted to talk to some people about these things. I know that this is like boring stuff that I talk about, but it's the stuff that I do for fun as a hobby.
Well, as long as it's you're having fun, that's the thing. Find something, and just pursue it.
Yeah,
it's a nice hobby. As long as YouTube actually allows it.
Yeah, because I try to be careful with them, and I know that they don't like this type of content, especially. But I try to be neutral about it because I know that both sides would come after me about it on certain edges. Like Gavin McGinnis, I don't like him. Like I'll say that out loud. But
he's a grumpy old man.
No, not a grumpy old man. I just consider him. I just hope that Copper Cobb would street fight him. Because I would like to see that on YouTube, like a no holds bar cage match with him, with an old man and a young guy fighting it out to see who will win. And I hope that Kevin Shamrock would